Oh, mercy on us. I thought we weren't going, his wife answered crossly. What, when? He coughed and waved his hand. The prince took off his hat and moved away with his daughter. Ah! Ah! He sighed deeply. Oh, poor things. Yes, Papa, answered Kitty. And you must know they've 3 children, no servant, and scarcely any means. He gets something from the academy, she went on briskly, trying to drown the distress that the queer change in Anna Pavlovna's manner to her had aroused in her. Oh, here's Madame Stahl, said Kitty, indicating an invalid carriage, where, propped on pillows, something in gray and blue was lying under a sunshade. This was Madame Stahl. Behind her stood the gloomy, healthy-looking German workman who pushed the carriage. Close by was standing a flaxen-headed Swedish count, whom Kitty knew by name. Several invalids were lingering near the low carriage, staring at the lady as though she were some curiosity. The prince went up to her, and Kitty detected that disconcerting gleam of irony in his eyes. He went up to Madame Stahl, and addressed her with extreme courtesy and affability in that excellent French that so few speak nowadays. I don't know if you remember me, but I must recall myself to thank you for your kindness to my daughter, he said, taking off his hat and not putting it on again. Prince Alexander Sherbatsky, said Madame Stahl, lifting upon him her heavenly eyes, in which Kitty discerned a look of annoyance. Delighted. I have taken a great fancy to your daughter. You are still in weak health? Yes, I'm used to it, said Madame Stahl, and she introduced the prince to the Swedish count. You are scarcely changed at all, the prince said to her. It's 10 or 11 years since I had the honor of seeing you. Yes, God sends the cross and sends the strength to bear it. Often one wonders what is the goal of this life? The other side, she said angrily to Varenka, who had rearranged the rug over her feet not to her satisfaction. To do good, probably, said the prince with a twinkle in his eye. That is not for us to judge, said Madame Stahl, perceiving the shade of expression on the prince's face. So you will send me that book, dear Count? I'm very grateful to you, she said to the young Swede. Ah! Cried the prince, catching sight of the Moscow colonel standing near, and with a bow to Madame Stahl he walked away with his daughter and the Moscow colonel, who joined them. That's our aristocracy, Prince. The Moscow colonel said with ironical intention. He cherished a grudge against Madame Stahl for not making his acquaintance. She's just the same, replied the prince. Did you know her before her illness, Prince? That's to say before she took to her bed? Yes. She took to her bed before my eyes, said the prince. They say it's 10 years since she has stood on her feet. She doesn't stand up because her legs are too short. She's a very bad figure. Papa, it's not possible, cried Kitty. That's what wicked tongues say, my darling. And your Varenka catches it too, he added. Oh, these invalid ladies. Oh, no, Papa. Kitty objected warmly. Varenka worships her. And then she does so much good. Ask anyone. Everyone knows her in a lean stall. Perhaps so, said the prince, squeezing her hand with his elbow, but it's better when one does good so that you may ask everyone and no one knows. Kitty did not answer, not because she had nothing to say, but because she did not care to reveal her secret thoughts even to her father. But, strange to say, although she had so made up her mind not to be influenced by her father's views, not to let him into her inmost sanctuary, she felt that the heavenly image of Madame Stahl, which she had carried for a whole month in her heart, had vanished, never to return, just as the fantastic figure made up of some clothes thrown down at random vanishes when one sees that it is only some garment lying there. All that was left was a woman with short legs, who lay down because she had a bad figure, and worried patient Varenka for not arranging her rug to her liking. And by no effort of the imagination could Kitty bring back the former Madame Stahl. Chapter 35. The prince communicated his good humor to his own family and his friends, and even to the German landlord in whose rooms the Sherbatskys were staying. On coming back with Kitty from the Springs, the prince, who had asked the colonel, and Marya Yevgenyevna, and Varenka all to come and have coffee with them, gave orders for a table and chairs to be taken into the garden under the chestnut tree, and lunch to be laid there. The landlord and the servants, too, grew brisker under the influence of his good spirits. They knew his open-handedness, and half an hour later the invalid doctor from Hamburg, who lived on the top floor, looked enviously out of the window at the merry party of healthy Russians assembled under the chestnut tree. In the trembling circles of shadow cast by the leaves, at a table, covered with a white cloth, and set with coffee-pot, bread and butter, cheese, and cold game, sat the princess in a high cap with lilac ribbons, distributing cups and bread and butter. At the other end sat the prince, eating heartily, and talking loudly and merrily. The prince had spread out near him his purchases, carved boxes, and knickknacks, paper knives of all sorts, of which he bought a heap at every watering place, and bestowed them upon everyone, including Lieschen, the servant girl, and the landlord, with whom he jested in his comically bad German, assuring him that it was not the water had cured Kitty, but his splendid cookery, especially his plum soup. The princess laughed at her husband for his Russian ways, but she was more lively and good-humored than she had been all the while she had been at the waters. The colonel smiled, as he always did, at the prince's jokes, but as far as regards Europe, of which he believed himself to be making a careful study, he took the princess's side. The simple-hearted Marya Yevgenyevna simply roared with laughter at everything absurd the prince said, and his jokes made Varenka helpless with feeble but infectious laughter, which was something Kitty had never seen before. Kitty was glad of all this, but she could not be light-hearted. She could not solve the problem her father had unconsciously set her by his good-humored view of her friends, and of the life that had so attracted her. To this doubt there was joined the change in her relations with the Petrovs, which had been so conspicuously and unpleasantly marked that morning. Everyone was good-humored, but Kitty could not feel good-humored, and this increased her distress. She felt a feeling such as she had known in childhood, when she had been shut in her room as a punishment, and had heard her sister's merry laughter outside.